Corbin. Good morning. It's time for today's AM Minnesota program. And we are going to be discussing the Rice County Fair. It's hard to believe it's going to be here in about 2 months. John Dvorak, the Executive Secretary of the Rice County Fair, in studio. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Jerry. Glad to see you again this morning.
Yeah, it really is hard to believe that it seems like it's getting pretty close.
Oh, man, and you think, wow, 4th of July is such a long way off, and right after the 4th of July, the fair comes, but boy, it's going to be here before you know it. It's going by fast.
I should mention, too, after the market break, then Art Matson is going to join us on his phone talking about the Rice County Agriculture Hall of Fame. Of course, then, as I mentioned, the Rice County Fair, and Doug Gilbertson from the Near Strand Agri Center is also going to join us for a few minutes. Doug and the Near Strand Agri Center have permanently sponsored the Rice County Agriculture Hall of Fame program. Boy, what a great addition to the Rice County Fair that was a few years ago.
Oh, it sure was, and and I thank Doug for going out and doing what he's doing. Art is doing a great job promoting it. Art has got such a passion for it, and it's just a way that we can do something that we can give back to the people that gave to the county and made the agriculture in Rice County stand out like it does. There's a lot of people to be thankful for, and the only way that we can get a hold of these people or know who these people are is we need to have them be nominated, and that's something that Art is working on right now, and I'm sure he'll explain that when we talk to him.
Before we do take a break for the markets and be joined by our other guests, we should probably mention the big announcement that came out, I guess, later on last week about all the poultry won't be at any county fairs of the Minnesota State Fair. That announcement by the Minnesota Board of Animal Health. And it's tough for these 4-H kids. All at once they can't take their projects, but I don't think anybody argues that maybe it wasn't a good decision. It's what we need to do to get avian influenza under control.
Well, it's definitely an outbreak that nobody saw coming, and so far we haven't made a dent into it, and the Minnesota Department or the Animal Board of Health, they had to make a decision. I think it's a good decision, and we're just going to have to accept it and live with it. And I'm hoping, I know the 4-H program is working on different ways that they can keep the projects, the people that are in the projects involved. I know they've got some. They're going to offer the poultry trips to the state fair, so these individuals will be able to win their poultry trip. Just they won't be able to have their live birds with them.
Yeah, maybe it'll be part of the interview process and their knowledge about their project.
Exactly.
Do some other things. Maybe
Exactly.
They take some pictures, do some posters. I like that idea, and I guess it never occurred to me that Extension and 4-H is coming up with Plan B.
Yeah, they are coming up with Plan B, and I know it's in the works. And we're going to miss it. We're going to miss that barn at the fair because that was a barn that was always full of the various birds. You had chickens, ducks, turkeys.
It seems to draw a lot of visitors too to the fair. People that aren't involved in agriculture, they like seeing
exactly
all the
so.
birds.
And and unfortunately, it curtailed a lot of the swap meets that were going on, and that's where a lot of the individuals buy their poultry to go to the fairs. And so, unfortunately, it curtailed that. But it's part of life, Sometimes life's got disappointments in it. It's the learning experience, and it's how you handle the situation. And I'm sure that these individuals are going to handle it just well. And they're going to look down on it and back, and they're going to learn from it and go on. And it's an experience in life.
That's part of what 4-H is all about, is teaching you those real life experiences. And
exactly.
You know what? If that's the biggest disappointment that 4-H'er has in an entire life, adulthood included, it'll be pretty good life.
That's right. And then I'm not trying to make it that we're laughing about it and laughing it off, because it is a serious problem, and it is a very heartfelt experience for a lot of these individuals that work so hard at the project. But my grandfather has told me, he says, every morning the sun shines.
That's right. Try and learn something from everything. Well, John, the Rice County Fair is the topic on today's AM Minnesota program. In studio is John Dvorak, the Executive Secretary of the Rice County Fair. John, we always enjoy doing these programs, and once we get a little closer to the fair, we'll be doing it on a weekly basis.
That's right, and I'm looking forward to it, but gee, I just wish it wasn't coming so fast. But boy, it's here, and we're having a good time, and I always enjoy coming to visit you here at the studio, Jerry. And
even if you do pick on me.
Yeah, well, that goes with the territory.
And on the phone now, being joined by Art Matson Art, in his real job, well, let me see, is he a farmer, ag loan officer at Reliance Bank, or I guess all of the above, right, Art? And of course, John, being the executive secretary, he's worried about budget and making sure all the free entertainment and everything is there. So that means John has to get sponsors, and a certain guy over in Nearstrand stepped up to the plate for that, right, Doug?
Years ago, and it's a great program, and we want to support the fair and the Hall of Fame. I'm just so happy that it continues to go, and the recipients they pick every year is well deserved.
And of course, that's right up your alley, though. This is a nice way of saying, Doug, maybe you weren't quite as young as you used to be either, but you have a pretty long history in Rice County.
I came here in '89, and years do go by, and I guess it's nice to be around and watch them go by. But as you do get older, you know, you might have a backache, or they do start to show up on a person.
I hadn't noticed that. Does that mean I'm not old yet? What are you laughing about, John?
I know just what Doug's talking about because I get those aches and pains too.
I'm surprised Art didn't pop in with a wisecrack there. You missed your opportunity, Art.
It's seldom I do, but we're going to pass on this one.
All right, we did have a change of plans because Art just got in studio, so he dropped his cell phone, and we were expecting it to go reverse, so we lost Doug. So at any rate, I will call in and thank Doug personally, but it's just, John, from your perspective, is trying to pull this off. Having people like Doug Gilbertson in the Nearstrand Agri Center jump up to the plate and say, hey, this is a part of the fair I want to support, is what really makes it fun.
It does, and you know what? It makes my life just that much easier because I know I can count on Doug, and Doug is behind it with Art, and the two of them, you know, it's a load taken off of me because I know it's getting handled, and I know I've got two great individuals that are taking care of it, and you know that means a lot to me, and it means a lot to not only me but the whole fair board, but all of Rice County, because you know it's that one day that we take out of the year that we can recognize somebody that's made an impact in agriculture in Rice County.
And now Art in studio. Isn't it amazing with technology? He can be visiting on his cell phone and all at once show up in the studio.
Absolutely. I was afraid I was going to be late, Jerry, so I called and said, catch me on the cell phone, and here I am. Yes, and thanks to Doug Gilbertson. He's just an outstanding supporter of our community and agriculture. Got a great group of highly qualified people over there. Whether you need feed, fertilizers, chemicals, or just some good advice, stop in and see Doug
or a cup of
or his
coffee.
people. Or a cup of coffee, exactly. Friendly staff over there. They'll take care of you whether you got 50 acres or 5,000, whether you're feeding 5 head or 5,000 head. Really great crew over there.
Well, let's talk a bit specifically about the Rice County Agriculture Hall of Fame. Was it 4 years ago we started? 5 years?
We actually started, Jerry, in 2008. 2008 was our inaugural year, and we, at that time, inducted Lincoln Paulson, Warren Liebenstein, Dean Curtis of KDHL fame, and Darrell Haig. Then the second year in 2009, we inducted Paul Day. Paul was a longtime FFA advisor, first on the local area and then on the state level. 2010, Burton Peterson, Benny Bartusik, and Mary Donkers. Then in 2011, we had Don Morgan, Wally Hildebrandt, and Clarence Perforist. 2012, Dick Langsley, Ed Drewitz, Willard Eastrom, and Eugene Schroeder. In 2013, we had a fascinating individual by the name of A.J. Lashbrook, a Holstein breeder from the Northfield area. And those of you in the Holstein world know that about 60% of all the Holsteins in America today trace to the Lashbrook herd. Really fantastic.
I remember Larry Tandy came over for the presentation at the fair. Of course, Larry having deep roots in the Holstein industry, and he brought that fact out. I mean, you think about it, 60% of all the Holsteins in the entire country have some genetics relating back to a herd here in Rice County. That's what this program is all about.
Absolutely. Then last year in 2014, we inducted into the Rice County Ag Hall of Fame a great farmer over there in the Nerstrand area, just outside of the offices of the Nerstrand Agri Center, and that's Gary Hansen from the family there. Long, deep roots in agriculture in Rice County.
And isn't this quite an event, John, when you had the businesses, ag groups, commodity organizations coming together, serving all the folks free breakfast at the fair, and then having this program to recognize individuals? I always say this is what county fairs are all about.
Oh, definitely so, and it is. It's, you know, you're right. There's no better way you can say it. You know, this is what it's all about. And you know, county fairs were always made to people in agriculture to come and highlight their what they do on the farm, and what great way to give back to these individuals, you know, for, you know, their many years of service of helping people here in the county.
Well, we should talk about nominations for the fair this summer. Nominations are still open, but they are going to be closing before too long, Art.
That's right. We are still taking nominations for the Rice County Ag Hall of Fame. You can get that application off of the Chamber of Commerce website. I also think it's on the Rice County Fair website, or they can call me at Reliance Bank and we'll pitch one in the mail for you.
If he's there.
we all very good. We had originally scheduled on extending it just 1 week, but I have received a couple calls from people that said, we just got done planting. We thought we were gonna nominate someone, and we didn't have time. Is there any chance we can still sneak that in? So we are going to extend it not till this Friday, but till the following Friday, so those can get in the mail. So if you've got someone that is in the back of your mind that you wanted to nominate or think you should, please get her done. We're always looking for good applicants for this process.
And I did see the nomination form. It's just one page. It's not like you have to fill out 20 pages of books. Some fairly general questions, but then you can just jot things in. And you know, I know this has happened in the past, that you start talking to people around and you start filling in more things in the blanks that maybe you didn't even know this person that you're thinking should be in the Hall of Fame was involved in more things even than you thought of.
That is certainly true, Jerry.
So there is some help available for that?
Absolutely. We'll give you the help that we can, or if we can't help you directly, we'll sure point you in the direction where you can get the information. I just received a call from an individual, I believe it was Monday, who is working on a form and said, you know, can you help me out, or, you know, point me in the right direction? And we got her lined up with a real good resource that's very knowledgeable of that individual, and I'm sure they'll do a great job on that nomination for her.
I always believe in giving credit where credit is due, and we did kind of take this idea from the Steele County Fair a couple years before. They started a Livestock Agriculture Hall of Fame for Steele County, which is fine, but you remember when we talked about it, we wanted to be a little bit more broad and just call it an Agriculture Hall of Fame so we could include agribusiness people and maybe ones that didn't have livestock. We wanted to be a little bit more broad.
Exactly. The Steele County program is a little more narrow focused. It's basically a livestock breeders hall of fame, recognizing some of the really great livestock breeders in Steele County, and there certainly were many of them, but like Jerry said, we wanted to expand this a little bit broader to take in all of the people that have made contributions to the great agriculture we have here in Rice County.
And that's not to say that ours is right and theirs is wrong. We just decided to do it a little bit differently. They decided to go their way, and no one is right or wrong. That's just how we wanted to do it.
Absolutely correctly. Different strokes for different folks.
So that we do have some time yet, so check with you at the Reliance Bank, Faribault Chamber of Commerce website, or John, the Rice County Fair site. There's a link there that you can get it off.
Yeah, there's a link on our website, so, you know, should feel free to go to one of those links, and like Art said, if you have any questions, you know, we can surely find the people that can help you fill it out.
And if all else fails, you can contact me here at KDHL Studios, because I printed out a couple laid at my desk. Even if I'm not here, just talk to Paul or Missy up front. And it isn't like it has to be a 2-page volume book either. It's not necessarily lengthy. There's just quality of things that the people did, right, Art?
That's absolutely right, Jerry. And I think some of the people that have mentioned, gee, I'd like to nominate so-and-so, but I don't really know enough to fill out a big form. And I show them the form and they say, oh, I can get this rounded up. This really isn't asking too much. And certainly the more detail you can have, the better off it is. But it's mainly, contributions to agriculture, leadership in the community, involvement in commodity organizations or breed organizations, things they've done to promote whether it's turkeys or corn or agriculture in general. Those are the things we're looking at.
I would like to use this example too of what it means to the families that have someone inducted into Rice County Agriculture Hall of Fame. And you mentioned Don Morgan a few years ago. And when Don passed away, I've known the crew over there since I moved to KDHL. So I went to the visitation, and here at the funeral home was his plaque, Rice County Agriculture Hall of Fame. So that tells you what it means to the families.
Certainly, Jerry, you're so right. And even the morning of the presentation, it's just so nice. It's the one time of the year probably that the whole family gets together, and they get together at the Rice County Fair. And so, but I mean, it's just a special day for that family and for the fair, to have these individuals at the fair and being able to present this award to the recipient.
And certainly all of you out in KDHL listening land, come on down to the Rice County Fair Wednesday morning. We've got this great breakfast that's put on by the commodity groups here in the area. And participate with us in this ceremony. See what's happening. We recognize not only the Ag Hall of Fame, but the Century Farms, soil water conservation.
Outstanding conservationists and all of those.
All of those are recognized. Come on down. We'd love to see you. Help us celebrate agriculture in Rice County.
And then we always also include if someone from the area receives some award, then we'd like to recognize them also. So it's not something that comes every year, but we've had that happen in the past too. It's just all about recognizing those in agriculture.
That's right, and that's what it's all about. Come out and have a good time, have fun, and enjoy the day. And surely like to see you here at the Rice County Fair.
And you never know what you might also see. Last time Art John was in studio, he talked about a dunk tank showing up at the Rice County Fair. Do you have an idea where he's going with that?
I have no idea whatsoever.
I'm looking at two participants as I'm speaking.
But John, I can't swim that well.
It's all right. We'll give you a snorkel.
I'm not so worried about the dunk tank. It's what he suggested I might have to wear when I'm in the dunk tank that had me concerned.
But we rethought that, Jerry. We rethought that. We didn't want to scare the people off.
Enough said. But once again, that's what fairs are all about, just to recognize individuals, but yet have some fun too.
And remind us, what are the dates for the Rice County Fair?
July 21st through July 26th.
Excellent. Coming up fast then. Get these nominations in for the Rice County Agriculture Hall of Fame, and give Jerry or myself or the Fair Board a call and get those nominations into us.
And special thanks before we move on to other things at the Rice County Fair to Doug and the crew at the Nearstrand Agri Center for stepping up and sponsoring that program.
Great job, Doug and crew. We appreciate it.
We thank you from the fair also, Doug. Many thanks to you.
I know, Art, you are busy. Can you hang on till the end of the program, or do you have to scoot for an appointment?
I will hang on to the end of the program. Absolutely, Jerry.
Well, John, other things that we should mention about the Rice County Fair coming up.
Things are falling into place. We've got our free act entertainment pretty well lined up. We got our grandstand entertainment lined up. We've got a new event that we're going to have at the grandstand this year on Tuesday night. It's going to be called the Night of Carnage, and it's a series of car races. I think that people are going to be pleasantly surprised. There'll be a lot of fun to watch. I'll just kind of touch on it briefly here. Is one race, they race around the track a few times. They got to stop and fasten on a kitchen appliance. They race again. They got to do a total of 3 kitchen appliances to win. Then we got one race where the driver's going to be behind the steering wheel, and the next guy next to him sitting in the passenger seat is going to run the brakes and the gas pedal. So it's going to end up...
How's our liability insurance?
And our last race is a race, they call it musical cars. They race around the track a number of times. They stop at one of the porta potties and they pull out a certain length of toilet paper. They have to do this 3 times. and the person that comes closest to the predetermined length of toilet paper wins the race. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's something that we haven't had before, and I think it's going to be fun to watch and entertaining.
I think the grandstands will be full for that one. This sounds fantastic. I know my grandsons will be there. They'll love to see that.
But that's the idea, to try and always get something new and different too. Although some things you keep bringing back. One of my favorites, truck and tractor pull.
Exactly, and that's one of the favorites at the fair. People enjoy coming to it. They enjoy watching the tractors. They enjoy listening to them, the smoke coming out of the smokestacks, and it's just a fun event to go out and be entertained with. And actually, we'll have our demolition derby again on Sunday night. That's always a fun-filled, action-packed event. And our bull riding is on Friday night.
Is Art going to be bull riding?
Our liability insurance said no, so.
I decided to pass on that again this year.
And Thursday night we're going to have we're bringing back the lawnmower races that we had last year. I know that I talked to the promoter from the lawnmower races, and he said they have a new class and they're going to have a lawnmower that's going to go faster than the ones last year. And I don't know, some of them lawnmowers went pretty fast last year.
But Troy Dunn's didn't go quite fast enough.
No, he didn't, but we're going to figure out something this year, so.
Why is it that's code for we're going to get Jerry?
Oh, I didn't gather that at all, Jerry.
We're working on it. We're working on it. But you know what? That's all part of it. We have fun with it. It's entertaining, and it's a fun, entertaining night. Come on out to the grandstand and see one of these shows. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and you'll enjoy it. And you know, that's why it's there. It's there for everybody to have fun and enjoy, and one day where you can kind of forget about things and just let yourself go and have fun.
And the grandstand's very reasonably priced. Parking, if you want to walk, you know, it doesn't cost you anything. You can park on the grounds, and that helps celebrate or help support the fair. But it doesn't need to be real expensive either to come and enjoy a day at the Rice County Fair.
Exactly so, and you know, we do have a lot of free entertainment during the day. That is there for people to come and see. You know, I've got several fair board members that put a lot of work and energy into this, and every year we rack our brains. You know, what are we going to put in, and what will people like to see? I think we've got a great lineup of free entertainment. We have the white sidewalls coming back.
Oh, they're always popular.
They're always popular, and we've got
and free too, by the way.
And free.
Whoa!
They're under the on the midway stage. We got the Rockin' Hollywoods coming in on Wednesday. White sidewalls on Thursday. On Friday, we're going to celebrate our Czech Heritage Days, and I've got the Charlie Shika Band.
When do we have German Heritage Days?
You got to check fair manager.
That explains that. So you're saying if I would become fair manager?
And then Saturday night, we got Sherwin Linton coming back. He's been here previously many times before. He sings a tribute to Johnny Cash, a wonderful entertainer. And so we're lucky to have him coming back this year on Saturday night.
You were going to say something.
Two things. If you haven't seen this Johnny Cash entertainer and you like country western music, get yourself tickets. This guy is fantastic.
But he's free.
The other thing I wanted to point out was a lot of my friends that are not rural like to come to the Rice County Fair and see the livestock shows. A lot of livestock judging takes place there. We got young people that have worked hard with their projects all year. They bring them in, they compete, and it's just really fun to watch for my non-farm friends that aren't familiar with agriculture but like to see what's going on.
Yeah, the 4-H you alluded to, and to see these kids take care of their project and what they know about handling that animal, big or small.
It's amazing.
Our before the break too, we mentioned about the decision by the Minnesota Board of Animal Health that all poultry, well, we won't be at the fairs this year. Tough for the kids, but they came up with a plan B. What a great idea that these kids are still going to be able to go before the judge and talk about their projects and still have state fair trip winners. So what a great idea.
And it's absolutely the correct decision, Jerry. It's one of those things that is unfortunate for these 4-Hers, but on the other hand, you know, the 4-H is really about what the young person learns, not about that animal. So I think it'll really give those poultry exhibitors an opportunity to concentrate on what's important, and that's what they learned on that project.
And if they are a little disappointed, John and I talked before the break too, part of life is sometimes things don't go your way and bad things happen through no fault of your own, and you have to learn to deal with disappointment.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, I have a few times. John, thanks for stopping by.
Always good to
We'll
be
look
here,
forward to talking to
Jerry.
you soon. Art, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Jerry.
Those Rice County Fair Hall of Fame nominations at the Faribault Chamber of Commerce office, the Rice County Fair website. Talk to Art at the Reliance Bank. Talk to me here at the studio, and let's get some folks nominated.
Thanks, Jerry.